Well, joining us for the Monday sports panel is Erik Bay. Erik, lots to talk about, especially in the NFL this weekend, but the big headline was the fact that the New York Giants are still winless. They had a chance to win their first game of the year against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are also struggling, but that last second play really kind of cost one man his job in particular.
Yeah, obviously, Jets defensive coordinator Greg Williams has been fired after that basically breakdown. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, 5 seconds left, you're up by 4 points. That should be a win. And not only do they almost blow it the play before, then they actually blow it on a deep bomb. There's just no excuse for that. And I think it's such a Jets way to lose too and kind of preserve the perfect winless season so far and kind of give them that front running in the race for Trevor Lawrence. Although for me, actually, kind of the bigger thing might be the concern about the Las Vegas Raiders and just how poorly they've looked. I mean, you need a last second comeback to beat the Jets here this week. And the week before, you get blown out by the Atlanta Falcons. So that's something to watch here as we get down the stretch and the Raiders look to stay on top here in a playoff race.
Yeah, there are definitely teams eliminated right now, especially the Jets being one of them. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence wants to do if he wants to stay one more year at Clemson there. Another big game on the weekend here, Erik, was the Giants versus Seahawks. Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, just a really good dynamic duo all season long. And then they go up against the Giants, who that was a game that a lot of people thought the Seahawks would have taken, but the Giants just continue to keep rolling with that offense, and Daniel Jones just doing his thing and upstaging Russell Wilson there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think I would definitely give this more so credit to the defense than the offense for the Giants. Obviously, they did a great job to shut down Russell Wilson, as you mentioned, and the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, I think, might have only had one catch in the first half alone there. So, obviously, just a great defensive performance all around when you hold the Seahawks to 12 points. And this might sound kind of silly, but I think the Giants, if they do make the playoffs, might be the scariest team to face here in the NFC, just from the fact that they have a chance to win what is a terrible division in the NFC East. And that's not really a team you want to lose to, but they'll be playing at home. They're guaranteed one home game as division winners. And as it currently sits, they would be facing the Seahawks if the season ended today. So that's interesting to watch here, especially if this defense can continue to carry this team, because, I mean, defense wins championships, and this is something we've seen the Giants do in the past, especially when they won those Super Bowls in 2007 and 2011 with Eli Manning. Their defense really managed to carry them down the stretch. And I think that's what's going to happen here, because obviously still a very close race. The Washington football team is right there. So tons to look forward to in the NFC East, even if the records aren't exactly very impressive.
Well, another team that I'm really surprised is having just a great season. Of course, they didn't have the greatest start. Was the Cleveland Browns. They're 9-3 after their win on the weekend here. So the question is how could the Browns look heading into playoffs? And also just kind of recapping that game from yesterday there, and just how good that Baker Mayfield is actually performing now. He's performing like a true number one quarterback, it seems.
Yeah, they've definitely hit their stride on offense. And as you mentioned, 4 touchdown passes in the first half alone. Their defense might leave a little bit to desired. Obviously, the Titans did make it close there late, only losing by 6 points. But as you said, this team looks very scary, especially offensively. I think they have a great chance here down the stretch. It's going to be interesting because still within grasp is that division lead. Obviously, the Steelers are still currently undefeated, but still lots of football left to be played, and that aerial attack combined with their rushing abilities. Nick Chubb has been fantastic all season long when he has been healthy. Kareem Hunt as well in there to kind of spell him. So I think really from an offensive perspective, this team has all the tools to finally make the playoffs this year. They've just had their first winning season now since 2007. So I think there's all the tools here to get into the playoffs and maybe make a little noise.
And of course, one team that made a lot of noise yesterday was New England Patriots winning that game 45-0 against the Los Angeles Chargers. It just hasn't been the year for the Chargers, but give credit to the New England special teams who really kind of made those big plays when it mattered most in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, New England's caught a lot of flack. Obviously, everybody's been talking about how the dynasty is over. They're only 500 as it is at this point. But really, with a few close games here earlier this season, lost by 5 points on Sunday Night Football to the Seattle Seahawks, and we're one fumble in field goal territory away from tying the Buffalo Bills and possibly winning that game. So really, this is a team right now that could be 8-4 and looking at the top of the division. So I don't count them out yet. And obviously, Bill Belichick is a great schemer, gives rookie quarterbacks a lot of trouble, and obviously did that here this past weekend to Justin Herbert. So again, you look at another team here that might make some noise, creep back into that playoff position, and as I mentioned, the Raiders kind of fading here down the stretch like last year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Patriots still making the evil empire of the NFL continues to roll on.
Well, the another thing here, just before we wrap up here, Carson Wentz has been a headline for most of this season with the Eagles. They did lose to the Packers, who, of course, obviously are the better team than the Eagles. But at a point where the Eagles could possibly, if they keep collapsing, what did you make of Carson Wentz's future in Philadelphia? Is he pretty much done, or what do you think will happen to him?
Yeah, it's tough to see. I'm not sure which way they want to go. Obviously, owner Jeffrey Lurie has not been impressed so far. So it all depends, I think, depending if Doug Peterson does stick around, if they do go out and look for maybe a new coach, GM, that kind of thing as well. So a lot of moving pieces there. I think he'll still get one more shot even after this season. I know they played Jalen Hurts for a few more snaps here against the Packers this past weekend, but it'll be interesting for sure. As you said, I don't think anybody wants to give up on a quarterback who was taken number 2 overall, has had success in the past, then got injured at unfortunate times, but again, has a track record of some of that success. So I don't think they want to give up too early, especially when they gave up a ton of draft picks and then obviously taking him with the number 2 pick to get him. So I think he's still got a little bit of leash, but as you say, I think that leash is starting to tighten a little bit more here as we enter the stretch run of the NFL season.
Yeah, we'll see what definitely happens in the offseason for many teams around the league. Erik Bay, thanks a lot for joining us.
For sure.